starting with Mia Robson, CP.
Good morning. We've heard for weeks that veterans have been trying to get the IRCC and Global Affairs to work with them to help get Afghan interpreters back. They have not had any success. They're suggesting that they need to start sending planes themselves in order to bring them back. What is taking so long, and how are you going to cut the red tape to actually get them here?
The Canadian government has, over the past many weeks, been focused on bringing Afghans to Canada, on resettling Afghan refugees, on making sure all those who have fought alongside Canadians for a better future Afghanistan remain safe and protected. We will continue, as we have continued, to work with partner organizations, with veterans groups, with Canadians from coast to coast to coast on resettling up to 20,000 Afghan refugees. The challenge right now is the situation on the ground. We are there, we are working with our allies to ensure that we are bringing as many people out of Afghanistan as possible. Of course, much depends on the safety and security situation on the ground, and we are doing absolutely everything we can to bring people to safety and to ensure that our allies do the same.
Sadie Stevenson from Global News. You're talking about bringing refugees from Afghanistan, and you keep using the 20,000 number. Those were already existing spots in the stream, and they deal with Afghans who were already outside of Afghanistan. So I'm wondering, considering in the last election you promised 40,000 Syrian refugees, if you will create new spots for Afghan refugees who are currently on the ground, and will you be requiring people to show documentation to board the planes, or will you do what the Americans are doing and just allow people to get on?
Because we are talking about resettlement, we need to know who these people are as they get on the planes, but we have indicated that we are looking forward to accepting as many Afghan refugees as possible. The 20,000, 21,000 number is one that we've been talking about, but we know there may be a need to do more, and what we've seen from Canadians, like we saw with the Syrian refugees back in 2015, Canadians are willing to open their hearts, their homes, their communities to welcome people fleeing from violence. Just as we saw what happened under a conservative government around Syrian refugees, it was the Liberals that welcomed in 40,000 Syrian refugees that have made a huge contribution over these past 5-6 years to Canadian society. We will be there to do exactly the same for Afghans, particularly given the level of connection and sacrifice that so many Canadians have made for the benefit of Afghan people.
Sir, I'm not sure you're aware of this, but the forms that they're required to fill out can only be filled out on a computer with internet. Most Afghans don't have that, and going to an internet cafe to fill out documents that have the Canadian flag on them right now could get people killed. So I'm wondering if you're willing to revisit that policy, and I also want to ask you about the Gurkhas that your government left behind who are guarding the embassy. They're at the airport. They want to board a plane. Will you prioritize them?
As I said, I had a briefing this morning where we addressed both of those issues directly. I have been assured by immigration officials that every flexibility is being given to enable people who can't fill things out online to be able to transmit their information. There are phone calls, there are ways of reaching out to people to help them on this. And indeed, people we have begun to engage with, they will continue to be our clients, our focus over the coming months, whether they remain in Kabul, whether they make their way to a safe third country outside. We will continue to work with them in order to bring them to Canada and to ensure that it's done in as efficient, as rapid and safe a way as possible. In regards to the Gurkhas, as you well know, Mercedes, the Gurkhas are actually not Afghan citizens. They are Nepalese and Indian in their citizenship, so they don't qualify for the special immigration measures, but they have been there to support Canadians, which is why we've worked with the company and with others to help them evacuate. I know a number of them have already been airlifted to safety, and we will continue to work to make sure that we're fulfilling our obligations to everyone who's been there for us over time.
Oui, bonjour, Catherine Lévesque, la presse canadienne. Mes deux questions étaient en fait pour Madame Freeland, si vous le permettez.
The Affairs Minister yesterday said that Canada is going to wait and see if it will recognize the Taliban as a legitimate government. This is a terrorist organization that's harbored al-Qaeda. It oppresses women. What are you waiting to see?
Look, Canada has no plans to recognize the Taliban as the government of Afghanistan. When they were in government 20 years ago, Canada did not recognize them as a government. They have taken over and replaced a duly elected democratic government by force. And as you point out, they are a recognized terrorist organization under Canadian law. Our focus right now is on getting people out of Afghanistan, and the Taliban need to ensure free access to people to get to the airport. We will continue to work with our international partners to put pressure on them to do just that and to secure a future for people in Afghanistan. Nous n'avons aucun plan de reconnaître les talibans comme gouvernement de l'Afghanistan. On ne les a pas reconnus, le Canada ne les a pas reconnus il y a 20 ans quand ils étaient au pouvoir en Afghanistan. Ils ont pris le pouvoir par la force d'un gouvernement dûment élu et sont reconnus pour être un organisme terroriste. Alors les talibans ne seront pas reconnus par ce gouvernement. Nous exigeons qu'ils assurent le libre passage des gens qui veulent quitter vers l'aéroport et nous allons travailler avec nos partenaires à l'international pour continuer de mettre la pression pour protéger le peuple afghan.
Doesn't explain what the consequences are, but I have to move on to another question from my colleagues in Ottawa. Again, yesterday you said that the government has been working for months on this plan to bring Afghan interpreters and fixers out of the country. If you've been working on it since May, how do you explain to them that it took the government another 3 months to actually get flights going? Why did it take so long?
We have been working with locals on the ground, with our consular staff, with our partners in civil society in Afghanistan and around the world to get people to safety with the approach of the Taliban. Obviously, the situation right now is extremely fluid. The Taliban has taken control of approaches to the airport, which is making it extremely difficult for people to get to the airport in order to get out. And that is something that we continue to work on. We have had that approach. We're actually today and tomorrow seeing the first families that we repatriated weeks ago able to actually get out across the country, finishing their COVID quarantine. We will continue to do absolutely everything we can, and we have said we're going to be welcoming 20,000 Afghan refugees to be able to resettle in Canada because we know that doing our part for the future of Afghans is something that all Canadians are committed to.